So this morning we're looking at Philip and the Ethiopian in Acts chapter 8. And I just want to pose a question to you. Have you ever experienced a voice in your head telling you to perhaps contact someone or prepare for a change of circumstances or even pray for a particular situation? If you had those experiences, what have you done about it? Did you ignore it or did you act on it? Because today's reading shows us what happened when Philip was obedient to that nudge.
Now an angel of the Lord said to Philip, "Go south to the road, the desert road that goes down from Jerusalem to Gaza." So he started out, and on his way he met an Ethiopian eunuch, an important official in charge of all the treasury of the Kandake, which means Queen of the Ethiopians. This man had gone to Jerusalem to worship, and on his way home was sitting in his chariot reading the book of Isaiah the prophet. The Spirit told Philip, "Go to that chariot and stay near it." Then Philip ran up to the chariot and heard the man reading Isaiah the prophet. "Do you understand what you are reading?" Philip asked. "How can I?" he said, "unless someone explains it to me." So he invited Philip to come up and sit with him. This is the passage of scripture the eunuch was reading. "He was led like a sheep to the slaughter, and as a lamb before its shearer is silent, so he did not open his mouth. In his humiliation he was deprived of justice. Who can speak of his descendants? For his life was taken from the earth." The eunuch asked Philip, "Tell me, please, who is the prophet talking about? Himself or someone else?" Then Philip began with that very passage of scripture and told him the good news about Jesus. As they traveled along the road, they came to some water. And the eunuch said, "Look, here is water. What can stand in the way of my being baptized?" And he gave orders to stop the chariot. Then both Philip and the eunuch went down into the water, and Philip baptized him. When they came up out of the water, the Spirit of the Lord suddenly took Philip away, and the eunuch did not see him again, but went on his way rejoicing.
We have two main characters in this account. Philip, who we were introduced to 2 or 3 weeks ago, was one of the 7 deacons that we heard about. And through his preaching before this account, many were baptized. And then the other character is the Ethiopian. He's an important official of the treasury of Candace, Queen of Ethiopia. But it's important to realise that this reference to Ethiopia isn't the Ethiopia that we know today. It was an area on the Nile, which is now part of the Kingdom of Sudan. So that's just a bit of geography for those who want to know it. So we read that an angel of the Lord told Philip to go south. Now this is not just a little stroll down the road. It was quite a journey. And it's on a desert road. He didn't know where he was going. But Philip was obedient. He heard that voice. And so he went. And so as he walks along, he's then pointed out to him, is the Ethiopian, "Go up to that chariot. Run alongside." And he meets this Ethiopian. And in verse 29, we're told he's nudged by the Spirit to do that. And as Philip approaches, he hears the Ethiopian reading out loud from the scroll that he has. And apparently that was quite a normal activity, people reading out loud. If we were sat in a cafe reading out loud, we'd get some funny looks today if we were on our own. We read out loud to our children, our grandchildren, or perhaps to a friend, but you don't tend to do it if you're sitting on the beach and reading out loud. But this was quite a normal activity. And Philip, just gradually, having heard what he's reading, asks this Ethiopian, who he's never met before, do you understand what you're reading? And the Ethiopian, although a high official, acknowledges no, he doesn't, and asks for Philip to join him. And in that moment, as they're travelling together, God has given Philip the opportunity to share with the Ethiopian all that he's reading from the book of Isaiah, who this person is that Isaiah is talking about. No, it's not the prophet. He's not talking about himself, but it's a prophecy about Jesus. And as they continue on that journey, and as Philip talks to him and tells him the story of Jesus, the gospel that we now talk about, the Ethiopian becomes convinced and wants to know more. And then they draw alongside water, and so that he has to be baptized. All this comes about because Philip is obedient to that nudge, that voice from God. And I guess today, my challenge for all of us is, do we act on those voices? Maybe you can recount the opportunities that you've had, those nudges that God has given you, perhaps to make a phone call. You weren't thinking about that person, but that person might just need to hear your voice. It may be go and visit someone, or it may be, as I found out the other week when I got on the bus, sat down, and then this lady came and sat next to me, although there was plenty of seats. I didn't know this lady, but as we travelled on that bus, she opened her heart to what was going on, and we chatted. And as she got off at her stop, she said, "Thank you, that's really helped me." I don't know what I said. I just listened. But I believe that God placed me on that bus that morning, in that seat for that lady. And so I think, be encouraged. God does speak to us in very many and various ways. Philip was obedient. Are we going to be obedient this week and in the days ahead when God gives us those nudges?